Irashaimase! Hello and welcome to Fataris' Kitchen. I'm your host, Chef Fataris. It's time once again for Shoot 'em Up Saturday. And on the menu this Saturday, we have Habroxia, a new shoot 'em up with a classic arcade feel. What kind of taste will it have? Let's get cooking and find out. From developer Lilimo Games, Habroxia is releasing in September of 2019 for the PlayStation 4, the PlayStation Vita, and the Nintendo Switch. Today we'll be looking at the PlayStation 4 version, but one important thing to go and note is this title is also receiving a limited edition physical release for the PlayStation Vita, which I think is absolutely awesome. So I'll include a link to that information in the description below if you want to check that out. So what kind of gameplay do we have here? Well, Habroxia is primarily a horizontal scrolling shoot 'em up, but it also has some vertical scrolling segments to it. We also have some additional modes in addition to our main story mode. There's the invasion mode, the rescue mode, and the shield main mode. All of these are unlocked by completing stages in the story mode. And story mode has a total of 15 levels to complete. So when we go into story mode, first we select which level we want to play. So we'll start off by looking at level 1. Level 1, mission, destroy all enemies. So an important thing to note is that Habroxia has an upgrade system. At this point, it's not a fully upgraded ship, but our ship, which is actually the Habroxia, is very, very powerful. As you play through the game, we'll collect credits, and you can use those credits to purchase upgrades for our ship, making ourselves stronger and stronger. And for the first stage, yeah, we might be a little bit overpowered. So we have the ability to scroll around the screen in the usual horizontal scrolling style. But one thing that I really like about this game is we also have a boost. When we use our boost, we're burning meter that shows up below the ship, but that meter will eventually refill, and I really like the amount of control that we have while we're using the meter itself. In addition to our boost, we also have 3 different types of shots. So I've mainly been using the straight shot. As upgraded, it's more than adequate for taking out the first stage. But we also have a side shot. And this is an interesting shot. So if we travel in a neutral position without pressing up or down on the stick, then the shots are really evenly spread between the up and down directions. But if we happen to be moving in an up or down direction, then there'll be more shots focused in the direction we're moving. I think it's a great way to do that kind of side shot, and it makes it kind of more strategic the way you have to use it. You have to think about how you're going to use those shots. And those 2 shots are on separate buttons. If we happen to go and combine the 2 buttons together, then we get a spread shot. And for a lot of the game, this would be how I would recommend playing through it, as you'll be taking out the enemies a lot faster using this mode. So in the top right, we have our score and our combo counter, and in the top left, we have both our life bar as well as what pickups we've picked up. So there are several different pickups over the course of the game that we'll be obtaining. So the yellow bar below our health is our fire rate upgrade. So we can go and upgrade our fire rate. The blue is speed, we'll slightly increase our speed, and then the red is rockets. There are also several other pickups that we can use that we can just like one-time use items, and I'll get to those here in just a second. And when we complete the stage, we're taken to this stage. We're taken to this mission summary where we see how we've gone and done. An important thing to note is that an important part of Habroxia is destroying all the enemies before they go and leave the screen. At the bottom here we have enemies missed, and that's crucial to not only getting high scores, but also completing some achievements. Once we confirm, we're taken to our high score screen if we set a new high score, and unfortunately these are local only, but it's still fun to go and compete against yourself. One thing I do really appreciate is it saves your name, so if you have a longer name like Fataris for example, you don't have to enter that in each time. Thank you so much for that. And then we have our ship upgrade screen. So this is we're taken to after each stage we complete. We can also enter this before we choose the stage we're going to play. And here we spend the credits we're obtaining to buy upgrades for our ship. So there's additional health, rockets, shot power, shot spread, and fire rate. As you can see, all three of those are maxed out. Also pickup magnet and starting pickup. It's great that we have the ability to continually upgrade our ship. That's something that I really love in shoot-em-ups. And we also have the ability to sell some upgrades if we want. Like, if we don't want to have shot power 3, we can sell one unit. We don't get all of the credits back, but then we can go and buy it back if that we so desire. Moving on, rather than go to stage 2, let's pick stage 3. So there are 3 different types of stages. There's the destroy all enemy missions. There's the destroy bosses, which come on stages 5, 10, and 15. Those are also the stages you need to defeat in that order to unlock the additional game modes. And then there's also rescue astronauts. So while we go through the stage, let's talk a little bit about some of the pickups that we can get. So the pickups will display to the right of our health in the top left. So right now it's an X as we don't have a pickup, but we did have one earlier, a shield, which I used to give us that orbiting shield. I just picked up what looks like a cherry bomb. If we use the cherry bomb, we have a screen clearing explosion, which will clear out of weaker enemies as well as enemy shots. So this one I picked up just now is a laser, which will give us this almost like a laser sword in front of us. It will destroy enemies as well as clear out enemy bullets, so that's important to note. There are plenty of enemy shots that our regular shots will take care of as well. So there are also these mines, which if we happen to get close enough to, they'll explode, but it's possible to destroy them before then. So let's talk a little bit about the scoring of the game, as it's one thing. Oh, before that, this is why I wanted to pick this stage. So here we see the game transition from horizontal scrolling to vertical scrolling in a stage itself, and I think that's really awesome that the stages do that. I also just like that the way that it's animated. The ship, you suddenly lose control for a second, the ship rotates around, and then we're in a vertical scrolling shoot 'em up. Anyway, back to the score itself. So each time we defeat an enemy, we add to our combo. It's not a multiplier like it's indicated there. What we're actually seeing is every single time we defeat an enemy, the amount of points we get for defeating the enemy increases by 5. Let's go ahead and use the shield. So if you're looking to get a high score, the important things to note are that if you let an enemy escape the stage on the left, then your combo will reset, or if you take damage, your combo will reset. So if you're looking for the highest score possible, you can't let any enemies escape, and you can't take any hits. So that's an important thing to note. Once again, oh hey, we had set a high score for that stage. And we find ourselves back at the upgrade screen. From here, we'll back out and show you invasion mode. So invasion mode takes the gameplay and turns it on its side. So rather than the normal horizontal and vertical scrolling gameplay, invasion mode turns it into basically Space Invaders or Galaga. We have these wave-based enemies that come our way, and we can only scroll left and right on the bottom of the screen. Unfortunately, we don't have our full firepower. This is what the ship's firepower looks like at base level. We can, of course, use our straight shot, or we can use the spread, and we still have the ability to pick up fire rate pickups, health pickups for greater health, as well as speed and missile pickups. And we still also have the use of our boost, which is important, as the two ways that invasion mode comes to an end is either you take enough hits that you no longer have any life, or an enemy happens to get to the bottom of the screen. If that happens, then it's game over and your run of Invasion comes to an end. As far as I know, I don't believe Invasion mode has an end. It's an endless mode where we're just progressively fighting waves, aiming for a higher score. And in a lot of ways, once you complete the game, this is probably how you'll be enjoying Habroxia. This is a really great, relaxing mode that for me is almost as a Zen-like experience. You can just kind of settle into this and just take out enemies almost endlessly. Well, if you're good enough, literally endlessly, but that's neither here nor there. It's just a really fun, relaxing mode. And there you have it. Habroxia served up for your enjoyment. So this is a title that I actually really like. But there's one big minus flavor for me, and that's the music. I find it just so dull and repetitive to the point where it almost kills the mood, it kills the game for me. And that's not something that I've really encountered all that often. It's bad enough that for me, I would recommend simply just turning off the music volume and playing maybe your favorite shoot 'em up soundtrack while you play through this mode, just in that Zen state, try and aim for that high score. But aside from like that, we do have a few really good plus flavors. First and foremost, the upgrade system. Having those persistent upgrades, being able to go and make yourself basically a god in the game is really satisfying. It's just fun to collect those credits, which, as I mentioned before, you can collect from any mode. Actually, I might have forgotten to mention that. But yeah, you can go and collect the credits from any of the game modes and use those to purchase upgrades for the story mode, as well as for the rescue mode. Invasion has you at standard power, and the Shield Maiden mode has you at a really, really weakened state. That one's more of a survival mode where you're just trying to survive as long as you can in a very, very weak state. It's actually pretty satisfying if you want to challenge the game system. As far as other plus flavors are concerned, those extra modes that I was just mentioning are a huge plus. So the game itself has a good amount of replayability and great value because there are those extra game modes. And then lastly, in 2019, I really appreciate it when a developer chooses to support older systems like the PlayStation Vita. The Vita is a system that I absolutely love, so I love seeing it supported by shoot 'em up developers in particular. So, Habroxia is an easy recommend from me. Alright, there you have it, served up for your enjoyment. So, that'll just about wrap it up for this week's episode of Shoot 'em Up Saturday. As always, I want to thank you for joining me this week, and I look forward to seeing you again next week.